News just out, both the Soviet Union and then Russia, and of course the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, both are involved in training, financing, and directing both Hamas and Islamic Jihad. There's extensive writings now that not only Iran backed and trained and funded Hamas, but the CCP in the old days and now Russia as well seems to have their hand in it. Talk about that. Is it the Chinese and the Russians and the Iranians behind Hamas?
Yes, first of all, as you know, the three of them, Russia today, the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, and the Iranian regime are in an axis of evil and alignment. But it goes back, as you're suggesting, Barry, quite a number of decades, go back at least to the 1970s when Yasser Arafat had formed Fatah and also the Palestinian Liberation Organization. And at that time, the Soviet Union, with Yevgeny Primakov, who I guess he was first the foreign minister and then the KGB chief of the Soviet Union, was actively involved in aiding and abetting these various Middle East Islamic terror groups. PLO was one of them, PFLP, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine under George Habash, another, and others, funding, arming, training them in the Bekaa Valley, together with, at that time, the followers of the exiled Ayatollah Khomeini. So that's Shiites, Sunnis, Muslim Brotherhood, PLO, all coming together under KGB tutelage in the Bekaa Valley from the 70s onwards. The reason for that was that the United States, of course, was a strong and is a strong ally of Israel. And the Russians thought that this would drive a wedge between us and disrupt our alliance. Now come to China. And more recently, we know that the CCP and the PLA, that is the People's Liberation Army of China, brought Mohammed Deif. He is the military commander of Hamas's Qassam brigades, the Izzadin al-Qassam brigades in Gaza. In the 1990s, they brought Mohammed Deif to China for artillery training under the PLA. So yes, just as you suggest, Barry, you've got the Soviets, the Russians of then, that time, the Russians, the CCP, and Iran, three of them now in an axis of alignment, but they all have played a role in backing, supporting, training, arming, funding these Islamic Jihad groups in the Middle East.
It sounds like it's everybody except us.
Well, it certainly is, as Caroline again puts it, a battle of good versus evil. It's a battle of the free world against tyranny. And whether that tyranny is communist, Marxist, Russian, Chinese, or the kind of Islamic tyranny, they are aligned in an axis of evil. And the good of the free world must now stand against them.
Very well said, Claire Lopez. Very well said.